Hi guys, welcome to another day in lockdown. I feel like I'm in the jail. Today I thought I would do something a little bit different and go back to my roots. All the days have completely blended into one day now. I don't know what the point in the clocks going forward was because I still don't know what day it is. So as you can probably see from my living room, it's a bit of a mess. But look at that lighting, that is lovely. So this is currently the lighting I'm going to use for some product photography. I thought I would go back to my roots because that's what I do or did as a job. I was a food photographer, still am technically a food photographer, but obviously nobody's working just now. so I thought I would just take you through a very quick shoot of one of my absolute favourite things to drink. Now we're not doing food today, we're going to do a bottle because bottles are really cool. So the bottle I'm going to shoot is this. It's black. And look at those reflections, it's lovely. It's going to be awesome. A litre bottle of Baileys that I got for Christmas. Basically the purpose of this video is to show you that you can shoot something really cool using things around about your house. Now obviously I do have some equipment set up, so I thought I would show you what that looks like just now. We've got a couple of clamps holding up a black backdrop which is very dirty. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep this backdrop in Photoshop or whether I'm going to change it out for something else, because you can change the backgrounds more easily if they're black. Not so much with green, it's a bit more footery. Now as you can see there's some pretty cool... Okay, there's some reflections, see them? No, some there. And there's some there, and that's because I've not taken anything off my walls yet. That is Locken Uain. Remember when I went to Aviemore twice actually and I couldn't get down to the lock? Well, that's the lock there, and it's absolutely gorgeous. That's a drone picture that we took one of the first times that we went there. So now there should not be anything reflecting. Oh, I've left this one up. The first thing we're going to do, probably one of the most important things, it's all about that clean up part of it again. I'm going to be shooting on top of glass, so we have to clean it to make sure that there's not a speck of dust on it, and it's just a microfiber towel and some window cleaner, so I'll go do that just now. Right. There's a lot of dust on that. So providing you get some good quality glass cleaner, that should come up pretty good. And I do this for every single shoot that I'm in as well. And the next thing we're going to clean is the bottle, because that has also got quite a lot of dust and stuff gathering on it as well. So we're going to scoosh that down and give it a wipe down with a microfiber towel, and hopefully that'll bring that up nice and shiny, and then put it in position and don't touch it. So the first thing I'm noticing is that the highlights on the bottle are actually quite big, and I want to make them as small and soft as possible. So I'm going to have to bring forward the backdrop that I've made with the table underneath as well, just to make sure that it's a little bit further away from the light. That will create more of a sort of a softer kind of fall off on the bottle as well. I'm aiming for about 6 foot away from the bottle, and at the moment it's only about 3.5 feet, so we'll probably have to double the distance to make sure that you get a sort of softer highlight on the sides of the bottles. Where's the camera? Yeah, I'll go and get the camera and get this set up, and then I'll come back to you in a wee second. So this is pretty much just a bit of a view of what I'm looking at the moment, and I'm just currently assessing this to find out what's working well and what's not. So you can see here on the left hand side, that highlight is slightly bigger than that side. So there's the two lights, they're both pretty much either side of the bottle of Baileys. So looking at it from up here it looks okay, but when you get close and you get down to the sort of height that it's going to be at, you can see the one on the left is slightly bigger. So I'm going to have to foot about with that light and make sure that it's exactly the same angle as this light and the same height as well. But that's looking pretty good so far. Once I'm happy with the final highlight result on the sides of the bottle, I'm going to bring in Mr. Speedlight and get a little bit creative with it as well and highlight other parts of the bottle. Mainly the label and the lid and that front little bit at the neck there. So that's coming up next. Now that I've worked out roughly where my lights have to be to get the perfect highlight on the bottle, and it is perfect. As expected, that white wall has given me a little bit of grief, so I'm going to have to switch to plan B. And plan B is very simple. Plan B is this. The best way to do it is with a speed light or a flash, whatever you can do, and you can do it with just one light. Yep. My camera is way over there. I'll just show you it. So the camera's way over there. So normally for sort of macro shots and stuff, you would shoot at 100mm. It's a nice focal length to shoot at. My own personal preference is 100mm on a telephoto lens, just because I like the compression that it gives you. I was shooting at f8 and I was shooting at 160th of a second, but that will probably change as I'm faffing about with this. I'm going to get a little bit creative with some of the stuff that I do to the bottle later on, including I've got a glass filled with ice, but it's not real. So this is just yeah, it's fake. So, tricks of the trade: buy fake ice if you shoot food and drinks, because it's perfectly clear. Come on, focus on it. There you go. There you go. It's perfectly clear and it doesn't melt. And I've lost one already. So now is the time to go start getting a little bit creative with this bottle of Baileys before I drink it. Just in case you're wondering, I'm shooting on the Pentax just now, and I've got this on it, which is a very old but still works. Is it ran out of batteries yet? No, it's not. So it's very old but still works. Yongnuo flash trigger, and I absolutely love it. It works alongside this very cheap, by the way, you don't have to go and spend an absolute fortune on lights. It's a Yongnuo YN560 Mark III, and I've had this for about, I don't know, 5 years. And if I go to a shoot and there's not enough natural light, I'll break out this, and that bit there will emulate natural light very, very well. So that's how I do it if I don't have sort of decent light outside. But usually, I mean, we're in Scotland, so diffuse light is what we do. I also always have an extra smaller reflector just in case I need it as well. So let's crack on and see what we could do. Right, so rule number one when you're shooting product photography is, once you've got your tripod set up and you're happy with how it looks, do not move it even an inch. From this point forward, what we're going to be doing is building up shots. And apologies in advance for this light, because it's really bright. So I've taken a shot just now. At the moment it's pitch black, so, which is exactly what we want. So it's 160th of a second, f8, ISO 100, and the image itself is pitch black. That's just trial and error. The other thing I'm going to do to move on to the final bit of detail on the bottle is the lid of the bottle. And what I'm going to do with the camera, the only difference I'm making to the camera is I'm going to shift focus from the label at the front, and then I'm going to make the focal point the actual ridges on the lid. And that's, I mean, I'm shooting at f8 anyway, but so it should theoretically be pretty sharp, but I want to make sure that that lid is pin sharp. So I'm going to go and swap the focus over onto that. When we're doing these kind of shots, it's really, really important that when we're holding whatever we're using as our modifier and our flash, because obviously I'm mobile at the moment, it's not on a stand. Make sure that the modifier doesn't cover the lens, because also because I'm shooting at 100mm, it's quite zoomed in on the camera. So I just noticed there that I'd accidentally covered up the entire lens, so the photograph just looks like that, which is a bit funny. And not anything I've ever done before, which is funny. So must be these under pressure situations that we're in just now. I think I've got all the shots that I need now to make up the basics of the bottle. For the sort of creative part of it, I'm going to add the glass, and what I'm going to do is have the ice kind of falling into the glass, and then I'll have a shot of the Baileys being poured into the glass, and then I've got a last secret ingredient which is going to just bring the whole thing together, and it's going to look awesome. So I'm going to switch it back to manual focus now, just to make sure that focal point doesn't change. Either go really well here, or it's going to go really, really wrong. So it's now 6:30. I've been doing this for about 2 hours, maybe 2 hours I think. Try to tweak everything and get everything absolutely perfect. So what I've moved on to now is the glass, and I'm not going to bore you with the details, but basically the settings are exactly the same. Hopefully some of that cool blue smoke that I had from the other shots that I took, I'll try and incorporate them as well. There's probably going to be 2 different images, maybe 3 different images actually from this whole thing. There's going to be one in the bottle of its own, there'll be one with the glass and one with the liquid pouring. And typically with clients, they kind of expect you to do a couple of different versions of your subject aspect as well, not just sort of one picture. If you're wondering why I've got red cheeks and I'm roasting, obviously we're all on lockdown just now and my temperature went up to this. I'm definitely going to need a Bailey's after this, as if there was any excuse. So, just as well, this content is not for children, eh? But if you're interested in how I put the photographs together, then that's going to be part of an upcoming series, which, thanks to all of you and your fantastic suggestions, I'm going to do a Photoshop series of a couple of my photographs from before and show you how I edited them, which seems to be quite popular. So, yeah, let's go get this a shot. Oh. And I should probably mention for this, I'm going to be continuously shooting on the camera as well, so let's hope the flash keeps up with the batteries. So the next thing I'm going to do is get all these images into Photoshop, process them and find out which ones are my favourites. So whichever ones are my favourites, I will post them at the end as per usual. So I hope you've enjoyed my very quick product photography overview, I suppose, of what I used to do. So this is a basic setup for a basic food and drink style photo shoot, and I hope it gave you a little bit of an insight into what they're like. So I'm gonna go. I hope you're all safe and well and enjoying quarantine as much as I am. For the next week, I'm going to be doing some gardening, which is well overdue, and my garden is already a jungle. So that's what I've got planned for the next week. I'll try and come up with another sort of concept for next week's video, and I hope you all have a wee shot around about your house. Remember, all you need is one speed light, one camera, something to bounce light about all over the place. And if you like this video, then like and subscribe. And until next week, I'll see you soon. Bye! Cake!